Hey, up me ducks. You're live, it says. So, still takes ages for it to actually appear. There we go on the iPad. Thought I'd got used to that by now. Wow, so many people in already chatting amongst themselves. So we've got Susie, Moon Tiger's Path, Jamie, Fierce and Pretty. Hello, that's a new channel name. Sandra, hello Sandra. Tycon, Cynthia. Hello, Cynthia. It's been a while. And I think you've changed your little icon picture too. We've got Donna and Tammy Pie. Hola. Or is that hola? We've got Diane as well. And Jen, Elizabeth, and people coming in. So, and Justin. Hello, Justin. Good to see you. Bramble Bear and Netherly. So, welcome to Throwback Thursday. Time just ran away with me as well. I'm packing a case because tomorrow I'm off to Oxfordshire to go and stay with our Becca, and I'll be joined there also by Sandra and Elle because it's Elle's birthday celebration weekend. So for some reason that 22-year-old wants to come and hang out with some middle-aged tarot cronies, but we don't mind, so it will be good fun. Hi Margaret, nice to see you. And we have Book Lioness, Tarot Del Terza, Melinio. There's lots of new people come in, but yeah. And just to say, before we start with Throwback Thursday, talking of new people and new subscribers, I was really blown away to cross the 9K threshold yesterday. And on the very same day that the channel got 9,000 subs, the Hermit's Cave Facebook group, where we continue the discussion that we have on the channel, hit 2,000 subs. And that's just 18 months old so far. So that was really lovely. So thank you everybody for your continued support. Really appreciate it, and the love and things you not only share with me but with one another as well. So thank you to everybody saying congratulations as well. Okay, so this week we voted, and it was between the Modern Spellcasters Tarot and the Beautiful Creatures Tarot. And as you'll have seen from the title, the Beautiful Creatures won with 61% of the vote. So we had 61% of you say that you wanted to see the Beautiful Creatures this week. I've been looking at a Jasmine Beckett Griffith deck, says Tammy Pie. Yeah, I mean, I've got a number of her oracle decks, but this was her kind of sojourn into tarot, which we will talk about. Now, I do need to explain as well that I have both editions of the Beautiful Creatures Tarot. And whilst I will talk about the difference between the first edition and second edition, the one that I'll be doing the complete walkthrough of is the second edition, because this one is the one that's still readily available, whereas this one is now out of print. I found this one really confusing at first. So in my opinion, and as I always state, everything that I talk about here is in my opinion. It's just my opinion. I think the improvements that was made between the first edition and the second edition are just 100% better. 100% better in every way, which we will look at. But first, let's just give a little bit of background, and hello to everybody coming in. Hello to Lisa, I've just seen you pop in, and I'm sure I just saw somebody else pop in as well just before that? Nancy, yeah, an Aquarius owl, and everybody else. So the deck was first released 6 years ago in 2014. That was the first edition. And hot off the tails, really, just 3 years later in 2017, which was also 3 years ago. And this still feels like a new deck to me. And I'm like, I've had it for actually 3 years, but wow. Came the second edition. They are published by Schiffer, I believe. Yeah, I thought actually it might have been Red Feather for the second edition, but they're both Schiffer. So this is a collaboration deck between the artist Jasmine Beckett Griffith, who is world famous, not just in tarot either. So there was oracle decks, books, t-shirts, even co-branded Disney merchandise and things like that Jasmine Beckett Griffiths was involved with. J.R. Rivera is the author as well, so it was a collaboration between the two. I forgot to say at the beginning as well, and like I always do, if you need to catch my attention, capitals or start with the Hermit's Cave, remember Throwback Thursday is a two-way street, so I want to hear your views and thoughts on these decks as well that we take a look at and reconnect with week on week. So this tarot set is an 80 card tarot set. It is your 78, I was going to say traditional, but more so with the second edition. It's not as traditional with the first edition. And plus 2 wild cards, which we will take a look at as well. What else can I say about, I mean, I think when you see some of Jasmine's work, it's instantly recognizable, isn't it? You've got the waif-like girls with the disproportionate size of head and those big eyes. And yeah, it's something that's quite distinctive, although replicated by other artists as well. Hello, Claire. Nice to see you. So yeah, it's quite, quite recognisable. And I've got things like the Alice in Wonderland tarot by her, one of the fairy tarot decks, fairy tale tarot, oracle decks, I should say. Quite a few oracle decks by Jasmine. But the first edition for me, I found was quite confusing, because not only did they change a lot of the titles within the majors, the minors were quite strange. We've got things like fires, not fire, fires, and then we've got waters, which is fair enough. You can get plural of waters. But then we got airs, which was annoying, and earths. Like there's multiple earths. And yes, there probably is multiple earths. But then when it came to the court cards, they had the page was substituted for a nymph that represented each of the elements. Okay, so you have the nymph of fire, and the nymph of air, etc. So you had an element represented as the page, but then what would have been the knight, queen, and king were changed to astrological associations, so the zodiac. So we have things like goat of earth, earths, goat of earths, and then bull of earth, obviously for Taurus, twins of airs for Virgo. No, not Virgo. No, Virgo. What twins is it? not Virgo, Gemini. Oh dear. You know what I'm like for my zodiac. Fish of waters. So they did correspond as well with the elements, but for Pisces, Scorpion for Scorpio, and Crab for waters. But you know, if you've shuffled your deck and you're reading them and you just pull a Crab of waters, I wouldn't know if that was the Knight, the Queen, the King. So I did find it quite confusing. Plus, it was shiffer glossy. I did quite like the backs. The backs had this kind of Medusa-esque design, reversible. But again, the size of it, now this didn't change. The size is still the same size with the second edition. But they're kind of like oracle size. So I felt like I was working with an oracle deck, to be honest. And because I've been so used to Jasmine's work as being associated with oracle as well. Just see if there's any capitals. So, that said, it was something different for a tarot deck to have something that was unusual to anything I had at the time. I quite enjoyed it. What they did, and we'll come back to the cards, so I do want to talk about the packaging and the book. They replaced the card with a lovely matte finish deck with beautiful metallic purple edging. It is starting to come off a little bit, but that happens over time, and I used this deck a lot back in 2017. But in the main, it's really, really lovely. The cardstock is wonderful. They changed the back. You've still got the girl on the back, but it's not that Medusa-esque girl. And they've been more traditional with the titles, and they just ditched the whole airs and earths and associations with nymphs for the elements and the star signs. And they just went with page, knight, queen, and king, and they stuck with wands, swords, pentacles. I just checked then that wasn't cups, it is pentacles. Pentacles and what have I said? Wands, cups, swords, pentacles. So so it for me it felt more tarot like. Hi June. Sorry, I just saw capitals, so I thought it might have been a. That gilding is my favourite thing, but it chips so fast, or maybe just as fast as gold gilding, but because of the vivid purple, the chipping seemed more visible. I agree. I only used it a few times before I started to, and I don't riffle, but I started to notice a couple of little chips in it. Nothing major, and it's still really nice. It kind of reminds me of the Cadbury's. Those of us who are a certain age and lived in the UK in the kind of 80s will remember that Cadbury's, everything wasn't airtight sealed then. They just wrapped things in foil and then paper over the top. But Cadbury's always had this metallic purple foil around their chocolate. Do we remember that, UK peeps of a certain age? The second edition. Oh, hi, Rochelle. Second edition, yes, definitely, 1000% improved on it. And I think that they listened to the feedback, because I don't think it was a massive hit, to be honest, when it first came out, because people thought it was quite problematic and difficult to work with. Oh, here in the US too, you wrapped in foil. That's good. Yeah, you probably would have done. So yeah, so it's more, for me, it is more usable because I'm comfortable with that structure of tarot. Okay, so firstly then, and then we'll look at some of the differences when we get back to the cards. But firstly, let's have a look at the box. And now I'm going to show the deck that I'm going to be referring to, which is the second edition, because this one is the one that's still available. we know Schiffer, and they have gone smaller with some of their boxes now, but Schiffer have always had these lovely open up boxes. Very often they'll be printed this way as well. This doesn't. It prints kind of portrait rather than landscape. But they have these lovely ribbons, and so it kind of protects the spine a lot as well, because you can't go back further than that. And then we have the lovely about the author and about the artist. So it talks to us there about J.R. Rivera, who is an empath and an award-winning author. Been reading the tarot and oracle since the age of 13. And then the illustrator, which is Jasmine Becker Griffiths, is a traditional acrylic painter combining elements of realism with fantasy and the surreal. And it tells you obviously a lot more about that. The book is really lovely. It's a really nice book with colour renditions of the card. It has that nice kind of shiny paper. Really, really lovely. On the majors, you get a full page. Well, I say full page. The card image takes up a page. You know, there's no other text on it. And for the minors, they're kind of smaller because you get one page per minor. The book itself, just look at that for the conclusion as well. It's just so beautifully illustrated. Look at the back. And the thing about this deck, the images have wonderful things like rabbits and fish and lots of little extras in there. However, I do need to mention as well that the artwork wasn't created for the tarot. It was pre-existing art that has been taken and used within a tarot deck. And that's not uncommon. Sometimes I have a little bit of an aversion to that. I'm like, oh no, you know, I wish they hadn't have done that. But then I think back to artists that are long gone, like Arthur Rackham, for example. And, you know, if it's done well, then it works. And there are some cards, like particularly the courts, which don't really give anything away for me. And that was another reason why the original deck was quite confusing. It was because I couldn't really get a sense of that energy or what the images were trying to... They were almost like portraits of just girls' faces. And I'm like, okay, so why are you the Knight of Wands? Do you know what I mean? So, but anyway, really lovely book. I mean, look. Get all the court cards. So, I was telling you how many pages it was, wasn't I, before I got distracted? And I don't think they're numbered. I seem to remember there were 162 plus a few pages at the back for notes, if you want to write any notes. But 162 of text. You get a foreword by Barbara Moore. Barbara Moore. She does so much, doesn't she? One of the decks that I'm putting up next week against Modern Spellcasters, because that gets a second chance, has a book written by Barbara Moore as well. She's a busy person. Introduction, and then first and foremost, which is setting up, you know, what you need to know. And then about the beautiful creatures, about this tarot deck, and how to use this deck. And then there's a lot of spreads. So 15 pages of spreads. One answer, beautiful and ugly, mirror within, beauty, truth and light, mind over heart, 30-day outlook. Loads and loads of spreads that you can do there. Then he goes into the major arcana, the minor arcana, cups, swords, pentacles, courts, and then there are bonus cards, which I think one of them changed. So the bonus cards in this deck is You Are One. And You Are One, I suppose, you know, when cards are added to the 78, I like them to, I don't know, just be completely out there But with You Are One, I was kind of like, okay, how does that really fit into a tarot deck? And I mean, it's talking about our wholeness, our well-being, you know, that connection to our mind and body, self and the environment. This is how I interpret it. The You Are One is at one with nature, at one, you know, with the universe, but also at peace, grounded, centered. You know, that's kind of what it meant for me. But it would, for me, it just feels a bit like an oracle card. So if I was to pull that in and read it, and I'd almost see it as a bit of a clarifier rather than an archetype. Does that make sense? The other one is the paranormal. In fact, let me show them so you can see them. Right, here we go. So, You Are One. Oh, yes, and they added keywords to this deck, which weren't in the original. And the paranormal is the other wild card. And I suppose for me, you know, the paranormal is that which isn't obvious, that isn't always seen easily or readily seen, that we might have to seek out. And in fact, a lot of us don't wish to seek that out. We don't wish to see that. So it's almost like be careful what you wish for. So they're the bonus cards. Now, in the original, we still have You Are One with the same image, but instead of the paranormal, it was just called the supernatural. So they changed it from the supernatural to not a happy squirrel. I like the happy squirrel card. To supernatural, but again, it's the same message, isn't it? Okay. So that's the box and the book. Let's pop that back inside. Yeah, and they, with the box, they have the two kind of, and they've got these little extra bits because they don't quite fit the shape. So instead of making, I suppose it was to fit the book really, and then they put all these little extra bits of card in so that the cards sit snugly. Let's pop that there. Before I show them, let's talk about some of the card changes then that happened. So let's have a look. I mean, the titles all changed. So, you know, we have the Fool, right? Important card for any tarot reader, the Fool. And it was more about the essence of the Fool, or the essence of the archetype that appeared in the original deck. So we had the Explorer, but we've gone back to more traditional. The Magician that we have now was Mage. We have the High Priestess, but originally it was just Priestess. So things like that. I don't want to get these out of order. And I am doing so. But what has changed then? So I made a note of this somewhere. Where are we? The Lovers. We will go there first. This is as in the artwork's changed, not just the titles. I've already explained about the titles. And I'm glad we've gone back to the Hierophant, because in the original one, it was the Hierophant S. So, the original Lovers, which I quite liked, and the new Lovers. And then we have the Wheel. Which is, this was the original Wheel. And then this is the new wheel, which is also the cover of the new box and book. Okay, and you got that more, you know, that rolling of the dice, that taking a chance. And then what else changed? Yes, I mean, all these titles are different. So after the wheel in the original deck, we had Equilibrium, the Swinging One, we could all tell what that is, Transformation, which was Death card, the Mediator for Temperance. So what changed for the Devil? Okay, complete change. So artwork and name. For the Devil originally we had Addiction, again, characteristic. And now we have the Habit and different artwork. And then on this one, of course, you get the keyword, which is dependency. So again, they're kind of traits of the Devil card, of that archetype, aren't they? Or our habits can, you know, keep us in bondage. They can keep us from moving forward. What else have we got? Oh yeah, and then randomly, the Eight of Cups changed the artwork. So let me find the Eight of Cups. I'm sitting here going through the cards looking for cups and forgetting that they're called waters. After saying all that to you. Okay, Eight of Waters. And Eight of Cups. So this was the original Eight of Cups and the new Eight of Cups. So completely different. How do people feel about keywords on their cards? Do they find it off-putting or do they find it help? I suppose, again, it might be depending on where you are with the tarot. If you're learning the tarot, I think keywords can be really, really useful. Don't like the original, says Sandra. I like keywords, says Book Lioness. So is there a particular reason, Erin, why you like them? Let me put these away. This one can go away now. Go away. And the images in the original book were black and white. Although we still did get the same layout, but black and white, and they moved that to colour. So just nicer deck all around, and set, I should say. So let's pop that there. That's done. And we'll take a look at the cards. I love keywords as jumping off points, says Lisa, but I can be very picky about them. I think I agree. And yeah, because they only choose one keyword, and of course there are multiple keywords for multiple keywords for describing the archetype and energy of that card. So if they choose a word that doesn't really sit with me, I'm like, but why didn't you choose transition for death? I find it tough when the images have nothing to do with the meaning of the card, and that does happen. Overall, it's done quite well, but there are some cards you think, yeah, it's a pretty image, but it's just another image of a girl with the disproportionately sized head and big eyes. Yes, exactly, Simon. Hello, Jilly. I didn't think you was going to be able to make it tonight. It's lovely to have you here. And if Rachel's there with you as well. Hi, Rachel. But yeah, nice to see you. So let's take a look. So I've already mentioned the backs. I've already mentioned that they're now matte and they feel lovely. The gilding is beautiful. Did I mention the card size? If I didn't, they're 8.8 centimeters by 12.5 centimeters. Cardstock is wonderful. One thing about Schiffer, Red Feather, love them or hate them, their cardstock is always nice. And I love that they are doing more cards in this matte finish, you know, like the Everyday Enchantment, etc. I think they are lovely. And they know how to put a nice set together. They have the quality of box and packaging, quality of box, book, overall packaging as Llewellyn, but what they do better than Llewellyn is that they don't skimp on the cardstock. However, you do generally, not in every case, but you do generally pay a little bit more for a Schiffer deck than you would perhaps a Llewellyn deck. So it swings and roundabouts, really. I'm here, Rachel left, she wasn't feeling well. Oh, it's a shame. Well, it's lovely to have you here. And you're just here in time for the cards. I've been on half an hour and I've wittered on. We've got 82 people in the room, so hello to everybody who's joined us. Hi, Zane. Good to see you as well. So, we have our full card. And I love holding up matte cards because you don't get the glare. Oh, yeah. You always have to hold it in a particular way. But really nice. So this is our Fool. So it's not the Explorer, although the Fool is the Explorer, because they've gone back to more traditional titles. But they do deviate a little bit, as you'll see as we go through. So, and it's exploration. So they've taken the old title of the card and put it in as a keyword. It's interesting that they changed everything and made it more like a tarot, but then added keywords. It's like, well, we're not ready to let go of those titles completely. Can you do a comparison with the standard tarot card? Yes, Elizabeth, thank you for reminding me. Everybody likes to see this little template I've got. I can't even remember where I got this from, you know. So there'll be, you say, the same height, and they are exactly the same height as a standard tarot, but they are wider. And as I said, these are very sort of oracle card shape. So, but they're nice. They are nice. So measured across, they're 8.8 centimeters across, 12.5 centimeters in height. Don't forget, if you do need to catch my attention, please do pop it in capitals. We have the Magician, which is very Halloween-y. I mean, I like it. It's a nice image. But it just reminds me of Halloween. But it's somebody here, you know, with a book of spells. They've got the orange and black stripy tights, the witchy hat. I think this picture is quite emotive, really. The High Priestess and its inner wisdom is the key word. But I think that's a really nice image. Here we have our Empress. And it's very female-centric. So the traditional male cards that we might have been used to seeing in the tarot have been replaced, but they've kept the title. So we have a female emperor. I'm not quite sure what that would make them different to being an empress, other than the energy and qualities. I like that empress, yeah, and I like the emperor as well, but quite fierce looking, like the cat. She's looking like she's just not having it, right? The Hierophant rather than the Hierophantess, which was in the other one. Really like this. I think that's done well, you know, again, pre-existing art. But I like this. We've got the supplicants behind in prayer. She's quite, you know, angelic with her wings. And she's playing this, is it a harpsichord? The musician's coming after me now. When was that a harpsichord? We have the Lovers, which remember was an image that was changed completely from the original deck. And I like this scene here. You know, it's quite kind of collagey, that one. A zither. Oh, it's a zither. But yeah, you've got almost this kind of like pre-Raphaelite image happening here. And then the... Hi, Mandeep. Jen said it's so long since I used the deck, I've forgotten the images. The Chariot. And was it Lisa who said she liked to see the butterflies in this deck? There are some lovely butterflies in this deck. And there she is on her little chariot. And we have motion. I keep forgetting to read all the keywords, don't I? Love this image. We've got like a Lakshmi type, or Shiva, no, Lakshmi for female, but I love the tiger. I think the tiger is beautiful. This is our strength card. And it has that Hindu deity, blue tone skin, really gorgeous. One of my favourites. And that's fortitude for strength, of course. The nice thing, because this is a bordered card as well, Schiffer used to do, you know, Marielle, again, everyday enchantment, quite thick borders. These aren't too thick, and because of the size they are, you do get a lot of image as well. So I've never felt the need to trim, plus with that lovely purple gilding, I wouldn't, unless it looks really ugly over time and really chips off. We have introspection for our hermit. Is he putting his spit on every card? Am I spitting? The Wheel, which I showed you earlier, because that is a card that's changed. That's a good question that Amethyst Ascension, Rochelle, has asked. How does the deck read for those who own it? Does it seem like a really playful energy? I'm not sure how I would connect with something like this because of the artwork. Yeah, but, and I want to add to that because Jasmine's Oracle decks that she collabs on are really, really popular. What is the difference, is my question, from this artwork being quite acceptable in Oracle form, yet sometimes we struggle with it in tarot form. And it was very similar with the Nicoletta Ciccoli Oracle Tarot when I heard dialogue around that. Because after all, the tarot is an oracle. It is a divination tool. But I wonder why we struggle with this type of artwork in a tarot, yet not so much in an oracle. And I don't have the answer. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. Very good question. Here's our Justice card. And that kind of reminds me of like Glinda and the Wicked Witch of the West. You know, that from Wicked, the musical. You've got one with her crystal ball here and the other one holding the crown. And the key word is equality. Oh, equality. I think it's because Oracle decks have a lot of freedom for meaning and structure, but Oracle is kind of a blank slate. And Tarot has such a rich history of historical meaning for each card and structure. Okay, could be. Are you saying then, Lisa, we're used to seeing the tarot presented in a particular, or should I say a more traditional art form or art style? the hanging one. I love the keyword for this, perception, because that's exactly what it's about, isn't it? Perception and perspective. To me, all tarot creators are showing their interpretation of their conversations with the divine. I like that. Yeah. I think there are certain things we could look into tarot to line up with structure and historical meaning. I'm probably not saying it quite right. No, I do get what you're saying. And like I said, I just threw it out there. I don't really have an answer myself, but yeah. Transformation is transition, which is the key word that comes to mind straight away whenever I see the death card. And this is quite a powerful death card. I love this little guy here with the flames behind him. This little skeleton dude. We've got all these bones and skulls here. She's holding them tight. They're in her grasp. But look at this guy. I always think of buying this deck, but never buy because I think I will never connect with the artwork. But these look quite interesting, really. Yeah. Had the first edition been the only one, I think I would have passed it on long ago. But then because I got the second edition and I really liked it, kind of made me want to keep the first edition because then I'd got the comparison, if that makes sense. I couldn't let go of the first edition now because I've got the second edition. I know, I'm odd. Temperance, we've gone back to temperance. And here we have moderation. I must confess that I bought this deck solely for the metallic purple edges. Own it. That's great. Good for you, Alexa. She lit up. The Habit, which is our death card, remember? And we've got dependency. Devil card, I should say. The Decadence. So this is our Tower card, 16 Tower card. And we've got Decadence. And we've got this vase with this eye looking out. Like something's almost trapped inside it. And we've got Abruption. But, yeah, how do we feel about that as a Tower card? That was what did me into the purple, which was why I was so disappointed when it chipped so easily. Yeah. It's like a genie in a lamp, yeah. But how does that fit with the Tower card, the image? We've got the Decadence, we've got the Abruption, but I don't know. We have Star, a Star card. Yeah, nope, not feeling that Tower card. Doesn't for Sandra either. The Moon, Concealment. What a cool word. I love that Moon. So some cards rarely work and are, you know, inserted, I think, quite well. We get another kind of, this reminds me of Baby Krishna, another Hindu kind of deity feel. Yeah, we've got this, now that's a sitar. I know that. And yeah, and it's Krishna because this is the peacock, beautiful peacock. But it's a female avatar of Krishna, baby Krishna. Beautiful, beautiful expression. We have the Judgment, which is opportunity. Which is nice. She's got some beautiful electric blue wings and these butterflies that match. A little toad, like little frog that she's holding in her arms. Lovely. And then we have completion for the world. Many wonderful channels here in this chat. Absolutely. And just before I go into, well, we'll finish with you've seen these anyway. These are the 2 additional cards, bonus cards, wild cards, which is the paranormal, which is curiosity, and you are one, which is authenticity, that connection to ourselves and that around us, and realizing that nothing is actually separate. Just with this being mentioned about there's so many lovely channels. Thank you to everybody who's taken part so far in the hashtag Get to Know Your Tarot Tubers. The hashtag is actually Tarot Tubers A to Z. But I've been so enjoying watching everybody's VR, and it's just been really lovely to get to know who's out there. I've discovered so many new channels, and also getting to know a little bit more about each of those content creators. And I've loved that people who don't have content on their channels that are just using a username to interact have been putting their responses into the comments below my video as well. So I've appreciated that too. But I just wanted to give a thank you to everybody who's taken part. And I do hope more people do it, because I love waking up in the morning and seeing some people have done them live. Some people have done them as premieres, like Rochelle, who's in the room, did hers a few hours ago. It's great. I'm late, but doing it. Good. 26 freaking prompts. Gilly was like, it was like Gilly just realised yesterday that there's 26 letters in the alphabet. She was like, there's 26 prompts. I'm like, it's A to Z, Gilly. Okay, so we've got our cup. So it's 1 of cups, 2 of cups, and our traditional courts back after the second, with the second edition. And the keyword, I think if I was learning the tarot, this deck would be really good, because one of the things that was hardest for me to learn was the minors and the courts way back when. I seemed to learn the majors really easily because I could see, you know, there was enough in the title. I knew what judgment was. I knew what death meant. I knew what strength meant. But 1 of cups, I was like, well, what you know, there was scenic to read intuitively, but getting a keyword, I think, helps if you're learning the tarot with minors and courts. I've got a little dragon, little purple dragon. 2 of cups is the relationship card, but look at them. He's wearing a mask. Like, has anybody ever seen Eyes Wide Shut with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman? That scene when they go into that mansion, that manor house, and they're there in those masks. There's a guy in there wearing that mask. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit. 3 of cups. Instead of the 3 maidens, we've got these little unicorns and her. And it's celebration, as we know. That is a plague mask. Awful movie. I actually was gripped to Eyes Wide Shut. 4 of cups, which is NUI. Regret for the 5 of cups, and she does look regretful. That's very much a Tim Burton sort of moon as well, isn't it? 6 of cups is memories. Tom Cruise, ick. Yeah, he's become more ick as years have gone on. I don't just mean in aesthetics, I just mean, yeah, Tom Cruise. But back in the day, 7 of cups, delusion. There's just something a little bit sinister going on there, I think. That jumping up and down on the sofa with Oprah about how much he loved Nicole just didn't seem genuine, did it? Eight of Cups. Lots of beautiful butterflies. Nine of Cups is satisfaction. The movie is good though. Yeah, I'm in the mood to watch it now after this, but I've got to do a video before I go away. Because Jilly, if you're still here, it's arrived. Anyway, I'm digressing a lot tonight. I'm supposed to stay focused when it comes to Throwback. Ten of Cups is contentment. And then we have our page. The Knight of Cups is empathy. That was about Katie Holmes. Was it? Hey, what is this? What's in the box? You'll have to stay tuned, Lisa. I'll be recording straight after this. Once I've had my dessert, had my dinner quickly, and then came on. Dessert still in the kitchen. King of Cups is fascination. Love that. And then we go on to our wands. Gosh, it's after 10 already. Two of Wands is decisions. Just fruit and yogurt. Morello cherries, raspberries and blueberries with some chocolate chip caramel yogurt. Three of Wands for patience. Four is unity. Then we go from unity into rivalry. 10 a.m. Monday morning here. What? How's that even possible? Wow. So Rochelle Resnor says, this is my favourite deck. Look at the colours in that. Isn't that a vibrant card? Six of Wands, victory. And here we have the little fish. Seven of Wands. We see these on the back of the box and book. New Zealand. But it can't be Monday in New Zealand. It must be Friday. Simon, she's in New Zealand. New Zealand aren't 4 days ahead. I just had to question myself then. It is Thursday, isn't it? Okay, Eight of Wands. I read that as massage. I was like, what? Message. Nine of Wands. Oh, we've got the Shroud of Turin look. Lost the plot. Time travelling. Oh, was it an error then? Friday. Ten of Wands. Page of Wands. Look at those beautiful red poppies. Gorgeous. Knight of Wands. Queen of Wands. And the King of Wands, which is leadership. Lovely, vivid sunflowers. I mean, the artwork is stunning. One of Swords, intellect. Look at this one. I love this card. Two of Swords is confusion. But look at the contrast of moonlight and sunlight and the difference in how colours appear in moonlight, but the vibrancy of the colours in the sunlight. Sunflower. It's beautiful. Disappointment for the Three of Swords. Repose for the Four. Very awesome contrast. Five of Swords is defeat. Detachment for 6. Treachery for 7. I'm going to try and keep this to an hour, guys. I just need to say next week's decks at the end. She's pouting. Yeah. Another mask, the 9 of Swords. More of a fun party type mask, a masked ball than the eyes wide shut type of party. 10 of Swords. The artwork is gorgeous in this deck. I'm pleased they made the titles a bit more traditional in this edition. So agree, Hecate. It certainly makes it easier to glance. Everything's nicer. Everything is nicer. The images are more vivid and beautiful because of the matte as well. The colours just really stand out a lot more. Knight of Swords. So you see now, we still have the zodiac representation of like twins, but it's not there in the title. You've got your Knight of Swords back, but we know that this was the Gemini card. And you'll see there what that one would have been for the Queen, etc. And again here, you know, there's the symbols there. Are there any specific circumstances where you really want to reach for this deck, Simon? Part of my problem was not figuring out when. Not really. And I suppose the first thing that will come to mind is like inner child work, but I haven't used this for inner child work. I have used Nicoletta Ciccoli's deck purposely for that, and I have used the Deviant Moon for that because, as I've mentioned, and when I interviewed Patrick, that deck took me straight back to my childhood and some dreams, and yeah, I really used that deck to connect back with my 6-year-old self to do some important work. I suppose it could be used for that, but I haven't used it for that. I just used it a lot when I first got it because I was so pleased with the new version. It was out on my desk for quite a while. I haven't probably used it in over a year, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I never used it for anything specific. Two of Pentacles. So flexibility is interesting. See, I would have probably used something like balance, or Three of Pentacles is mastership. I like that. Look at them. That's a good Three of Pentacles choice. Greed for 4. Kelly at the Truth in Story wouldn't like that. She doesn't see that as being the 4 of Pentacles. 5 of Pentacles is poverty, which is good for the 5 of Pentacles. 6 of Pentacles, generosity. 7 is progress. 8 is practice. Sounds lovely. I'll do some ASMR videos, but I don't have the right equipment. Rewards. Legacy for the 10. Oh, we're coming up to the hour. Page of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. It's beautiful. Ambition for the Queen. And the King is loyalty. So, also, if I remember, I'll attach at the bottom, I did do, back in 2017, when I was Two-Spirit, a side-by-side comparison video looking at each card. So I'll link that in as well. So if you are watching this back, not live, or if you want to come back, The link will be there afterwards, which will show you the side-by-side comparison that I did way back when. Because of Kelly F, every time I see a card like that, I think of her. The Four of Pentacles. Yeah, it's one of her irks with the RWS as opposed to the Marseille interpretation, isn't it? Okay. So, a reminder that I won't be here on Saturday for Cup of Catch Up and Cards. So I go to Oxfordshire in the morning, as I mentioned, to stay with Becca and Sandra and Elle for Elle's birthday. So no Cup of Catch Up and Cards, but the four of us will be live on Becca's channel tomorrow night at 9 p.m. So exactly 24 hours from now. And I'm really looking forward to going away for a few days. I've been so run down with cold and very busy since Christmas. I'm just looking forward to driving down there, taking a few hours to get down there and just breathing out and just enjoying lovely company. So I'm really excited. Next week, so Modern Spellcasters gets one more chance. It only got 39% of this week's vote, but it's going up again against Mystic Fairy Tarot by Linda Ravenscroft. Now, I have the indie version that I bought from Linda in her shop in Glastonbury, and I have this version as well, so I'll probably show both if it gets selected either next week or the week after. So that's the choice for next Thursday's Throwback Thursday. Either the Modern Spellcasters Tarot or the Mystic Fairy Tarot. So it will be up within the next hour, if I remember to do it before I do my next video. And you'll be able to vote then until Tuesday, 8 p.m. when I close the vote off. So thank you, Nancy. I will enjoy my getaway. And thank you, everybody, for being here for another Throwback Thursday. Have a great end of your week. And I will see you tomorrow night over Intuition Tarot, Becca's channel, for our live there. All right, guys, have a great evening. Until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.